I don't even know who you are, what you want. You got to be suspicious in this world, don't you, Eli?
Yeah, you got to be discriminating, Terry.
Dr. Eli Karam is with us. He is a marriage and family therapist and president of that entire tribe of them in the Commonwealth of Kentucky, and their association, rather. All right, we're going to talk about online dating because there are more and more people that are going for this sort of thing.
Yeah, actually, a really good piece of research study just came out this month that is making its news all over the media outlets. And it basically says this: more than a third, actually 35% of all marriages between 2005 and 2012 began online, according to this new research coming out of the University of Chicago. And it also found that couples have happier, longer marriages that met online. Now, the discriminating part of me, when you look at the study, the scientist in me says, well, the study, the effects, while statistically significant, they were minor, but it still shows that online dating, which used to be like a dirty little secret, no one would admit it, Terry, that they were doing or whatever, is now kind of acceptable, and that these couples are actually doing pretty well. And that could be because even though the study didn't determine why these relationships were more successful, it did speculate that it could include because people that date online, they have really selective, strong motivations of looking for the right person. They're very discriminating. The availability of this advanced screening and just the sheer volumes of numbers of people you can meet, which is impossible to meet face to face. So I think we do have some tips, though, based on this study. I'll ask you a question. What do you think? One tip, working marriage and family therapists work with a lot of people too, Terry, that necessarily aren't in a relationship but want to be in one, either they're exiting or this. So this is kind of commonplace to help people get back in the dating world, and certainly online dating is one of the ways. What do you think is what people misrepresent the most in their profile? So tip number one, you got to be honest.
Number one, their photograph. Is it a current photo?
Yes, make it a current photo. That is a tip, but not the number one.
That's not the number one. Okay, then it is
tied to appearance, though.
Their weight.
Yes, their weight and their height. Everybody wants to be a little thinner and a little taller. So you want a photo on there that is kind of distraction-free. You don't want a professional headshot.
What do you get? People who stand next to Churchill Downs jockeys and make it look like they're giants?
Or they're standing on their tippy toes to accentuate. So, yeah, you want a recent picture. You don't want a airbrushed, photoshopped headshot. You want a picture of you in your natural setting that is current. I mean, we all have great pictures, but they're a few years off. And again, something that's going to reflect who we are. And you want a really clear written and brief profile. You don't want it too wordy with too much jargon.
You shouldn't put a thing in there like, I have two sons and one of them, well, he's a criminal. He's in prison. You don't start out that way.
One way to really do it, I always tell people that I'm working with, let one of your best friends or someone that you're really honest with read your profile. And if they think that summarizes you without being over the top or exaggerated, that's probably a good indicator. Another tip is when you enter into a foray like this, whether it be one of these established sites like eHarmony or Match.com, and I should say this study also was commissioned by eHarmony, so you got to ask.
I was wondering
about Harris Interactive. They contributed about $130,000 to survey these 19,000 plus people, but it did have a good scientific rigor behind it. But the long story short is, at first you don't succeed, try again. People get onto these websites and they think it's going to happen right away. No, in fact, we could even argue that it's developmentally appropriate to go through several frustrating experiences, either in the filtering process or actually when you meet someone and they don't live up to the good. So another thing online daters like is you can selective and you can talk to the people. You can see their their written skill as far as communicating that way. You do not have to necessarily meet with them unless you're sure.
Well, we go back again to the texting thing we were talking about 20 minutes ago. If you don't learn to develop writing skills, just rudimentary skills to be able to structure a sentence.
Yeah, you're right.
You're not going to impress anybody.
If that's what you're looking for, if you're discriminating, and going back to what you said earlier, if you're profanity-laden remarks, that's right. You're not gonna probably impress the potential suitor. And other tips, like I said, don't lie or misrepresent. Be honest, and again.